This podcast is brought to you by the Deluxe Edition Network. To find more great shows on our network, head over to theden.show.
Hold on, stop.
Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, Boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that. Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill.
You want to be my wife? Oh, this is going to go downhill real quick.
What is going on? And welcome to Take on the World with
Yours truly, Jonathan.
Johnny Fan, not Johnny Finn.
That's for sure. The thinness anywhere around me.
Lexi is not with us. She had to work. And her podcast therapy dog is at her friend's house. And my podcast therapy dog only comes down when Lexi's here because, I don't know.
Little Ollie's probably humping something right now.
Probably. So, we're back.
The worst podcast ever. What's our
Not the worst.
what's our highest view rate? Like 3 views? No, I think the one was up there was pretty good.
We'll get more than that. So we moved the studio around a little bit. Not too much.
I always find it weird. I'm like, should I look at you or the camera?
Well,
Or just stare off at that fucking light over there?
the one that's burning your retinas.
Yeah. Well, I'm lucky because there's a pole right in front of it. So
Yeah. I just try not to look that way because I see white spots after I look
I know,
over
me
there.
too.
The rule was when we were wrestling, always know where the hard cam is. You'd always have someone with a mobile cam, but if you do things right into the hard cam, it's sure to be seen. So that's the hard cam.
Hard.
Yeah, we have no mobile cam.
Okay.
So
That's just more editing.
it's not that difficult. Even a caveman could do it. So, what are you drinking there?
Which one? I got the New Belgium. My absolute favorite. This is going to be the death of me. I just saw this at the store the other day. I'm like, ooh, a new one. It's New Belgium, Voodoo Ranger, Juice Force.
Okay.
And
I kind of dig the can.
I do too. Did I make it up there?
No.
You can have this one.
Oh, thank you.
Just rinse it out.
Yeah.
I mean, it really honestly just tastes like juice.
And I have the New Belgium Agent 77 IPA. Not my favorite.
Where? I know these guys are from Colorado. Was it Fort Collins?
I don't know. Let's see. Fort Collins.
Okay.
And Asheville, North Carolina.
I used to go to school in Fort Collins.
Yeah, this one's not bad. It's not my favorite. I did have one of those, and I really liked it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like pineapple juice.
Yeah.
It's really fucking
See, you faded away from your mic again.
good. Not bad. This thing's like crooked, too.
You're crooked.
Crooked ass face, bitch.
So, what's the other one you got there?
Oh, this is the, Algar Boobly Beer.
Boobity beer?
Boobly Beer. The Fest Beer. It's a Marzen style. Because the guy corrected me at the store. I said, is that an Oktoberfest? He goes, well, no, because it's not brewed in Munich. So, he goes, technically, it's a Marzen style. And then he was talking about, he's actually a pretty cool dude. He's talking about how he wants to go to Oktoberfest.
I'd love to.
And he's like, man, could you imagine all them hot German girls serving you beers and all the food? And he's like, it's a total drunk fest, but he's like, I really wanted to go to, I forget what brewery it was, but it's like an old castle that they've been brewing beer in for the last 1,000 years. You imagine 1,000 years?
Yeah, I don't think I could brew beer that long.
Well, probably tastes like that Commander Kitsu.
Nothing tastes that bad.
Just that, like, I can't even. Like, our country's not even that old. Our country's only, like, not even 300 years old. I just think this place has been brewing beer for. It's the 500s. They might have served Jesus, for Christ's sakes.
Probably not.
Maybe.
I don't think Jesus was 500 years old.
No, but he might have liked an Oktoberfest.
I'm sure he would have.
Or did he just drink wine?
Water. He was just a water guy.
He turned water into wine.
So what are we doing this week?
I don't know. Something I looked up on YouTube, and I never heard of it before. And it was the Horrorcore Killer, which I'm kind of confused on this because I thought it was more than one person, but I don't think it was. Was it? Okay, then I am not retarded.
Well, not for that. So it's when you said it, I thought you said hardcore killer. I'm like, okay, but
no,
it's horrorcore, and I guess horrorcore was a style of rap music.
Yes.
Now, I listened to rap back then, and I don't.
I've never heard of it.
Particularly, I looked up the music on YouTube just to see what it was, and it just sounded like rap music to me. But well, it's a horror themed, dark lyrical content and imagery style music.
Yeah. So this would have been, correct me if I'm wrong, back in the day where they tried to blame music. Now, I've been doing this for a while, but where they try and blame this style of music for, kids going crazy and killing people.
I think there was some of that here.
Like when they tried to blame Ozzy's music, and yeah, no, I don't think so. Music doesn't turn you into a killer.
Being a psychopath does.
Yeah.
Now, I've listened to a lot of music over the years, but I never heard of it, horrorcore rap. So when I did the research, I listened to it. It's not my style of rap, but whatever. It's based on hardcore hip hop, gangster rap, incorporating supernatural, occult, psychological horror themes into the lyrics. The content pushes violence, gruesome, ghoulish, and splatter film imagery. So it's odd that I wasn't into this because I love the horror genre of movies. I don't know. So this entire thing, well, it was the horrorcore.
It's just not that good.
Yeah, horrorcore killings, and they were also known as the Farmville Murders. And this took place in a time where MySpace was the thing rather than Facebook.
Oh my God, I remember MySpace.
I still have a MySpace page.
Do you?
Yes, I do. I actually went on after this. I went on. I logged into it the other day just to see if it was still there.
It was.
It's still there.
That's crazy.
So MySpace and this genre of music, it was kind of unique because it was in its infancy, and the rappers would the musicians would directly interact with the fans on MySpace, and these kids would go to these festivals, hang out, and they would hang out with the artists, and it was not uncommon to know these artists. In fact, this kid who committed these murders was actually he did some horrorcore rap music, and he had it on his MySpace page. So this all took place not all of it. It's Virginia and Michigan.
Yeah, this is what really threw me off. It's like, excuse me. But that, pardon me here. My fucking mouth is. I had some cavities filled yesterday. My mouth is sore as shit. I felt like I was. Anyways,
Moving on.
Moving right along. Just bear with me. If I start to my eye starts to droop, my lip goes down.
You're not having a stroke. It's just
No, it's just a leftover Novocaine. Well, I'm not kidding you, man. My eyeball was numb. Like I can feel it up in my brain. Just like this whole. I even told the doctor that, and he's like, "Yeah, I promise you, it'll go away."
So your brain was numb.
Yes, numb.
So you were saying?
Yeah, this is what confused me was it's just the what am I trying to say here? Where everything took place. It seems like, well, that's fucking weird. It's just all over the map. That's all I'm trying to say.
What? There's some huge red flags when I did the research for this. I came across some stuff, and I called Lexi, and I'm like, Lex, would this have ever happened here? And she goes, oh fuck no. So
when you, as a parent, you think, oh my god, the first thing you think of is your kids, and I hope nothing ever like this happens. And you'd like to say that shit won't fly. I mean, obviously, I doubt it would here. But you just wonder how it happens,
this whole thing happened, I think, and I don't know. There's just some red flag. We'll get into it. So there's 3 main people involved in most of this, and then some other people got caught up in the murders just by kind of wrong place, wrong time. So Richard Alden Samuel McCroskey III.
Doesn't this play into our serial killers with the 4 names?
Well, I think they did that I think they do that on purpose now. Although his MySpace name, I think, was Psycho Sam. So he used his middle name. Yes.
Okay. Well, he wasn't in the Air Force.
No, he was not. So he was born December 26, 1988. So he was born the year I graduated.
Wow. I was 5 years old.
I was already in the Navy when this dude was born. He was born in Hayward, California, San Francisco Bay Area. He had an older sister, Sarah. They moved to Castro Valley, California, which is just 3 or 4 miles away. In the summer of 2003, his dad asked his mother to leave. They said that the parents were not unhappy per se. They just were not particularly close. And sister would later say that their family was not like a Leave It to Beaver type family. Obviously.
No, Psycho Sam didn't really fit in.
So Richard McCroskey took his mother leaving extremely hard. So he dropped out of 2 different high schools as a teenager. When he was at school, he was particularly miserable. He was being bullied, which is another reoccurring theme, as an outcast for being overweight and for having red hair. So he was a ginger.
Yeah, usually gingers. I don't think gingers generally get made fun of, unless you're over. I see the overweight more than anything.
His sister described him as a very passive. He was very passive, someone who rarely stood up for himself unless he was seriously provoked. And I just think she's just being an overprotective sister because after all this happened, she defended him somewhat. They say he was shy, and he turned to the comfort of the internet, especially social networking site MySpace, to escape from reality. In 2008, he lived in a home and worked part-time as a graphic designer and began dabbling in making horrorcore rap. So 2008, he was 20.
Did you hear any of his horrorcore rap?
I did not.
So it's probably, I'd like to hear what it is. It's probably terrible.
I think it's all terrible, to be honest with you. He uploaded his music to MySpace under the name Psycho Sam.
You see how he spelled it?
Yes.
Oh,
SYKO.
Or is it Sicko? Sicko or Psycho? I lean toward Psycho.
I don't know. Let's see. He used that because he had an obsession with a notorious serial killer, Son of Sam. His MySpace page featured his raps about killing, maiming, and mutilating people.
Okay.
On his YouTube channel, McCroskey went under the name Little Demon Dog. And there's another reference to serial killer David Berkowitz. Kids just fucking whack.
Yeah, this is, alright, listen, if you're, like you said, if your kid, you knew this and you found out your kid's like, oh, my favorite serial killer. Like, who has a favorite serial killer? There was my favorite serial killer was Jeffrey Dahmer.
I don't think his parents were very involved.
Doesn't sound like it.
So while he was on MySpace and putting his music up there, there was a lot of networking with other fans of the music and artists. One of the people he networked with was Emma Niederbrock. Niederbrock? Emma Niederbrock was born October 15th, 1992. So a little bit younger than him. By a couple years. Her parents were Mark Niederbrock, Deborah Kelly. They lived in Champlain, Illinois, and moved to from Illinois to Farmville, Virginia, Farmville's like almost the exact center of Virginia. If you look at it on a map, it's like this little dot in the center of the state. Mark was a Presbyterian pastor in the Hicksburg Church in 2003. Deborah was a professor of psychology and criminal justice at Longwood University in Farmville.
Oh, it says sociology.
What did I say?
Psychology.
I meant sociology.
I don't know what the difference. I know what psychology is. I don't know what sociology is.
Study.
Social studies.
It has to do with
social stuff.
Psychology.
Does it?
I think it does.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it. I don't know. How's that? What's that O'Fallon beer? Peanut butter beer taste like?
Don't even start again, bro. We went through this last time.
I don't know if I have amnesia or if I'm just retarded.
Well, that's, I guess, a discussion for another day.
But at least I didn't have a full-on conversation with you over the radio.
Emma was homeschooled since middle school. In 2009, Mark and Deborah divorced. Emma stayed with Deborah in the family home. Her father moved out. Go ahead.
When you do your research, do you do most of it from just like researching websites?
Yes.
Or do you watch any videos?
I watched video on this, yes.
Did you watch the video on this one?
Yes.
Okay. I wonder if we watched the same one. I'm sure there's probably not a ton of them, but...
Yeah, I don't know. It was the first one that popped up. I watched it. Actually, me and Nathan listened to it together.
Okay.
Emma spent a lot of time on the internet, mainly on her MySpace. Her username was Ragdoll. She used MySpace to listen to horrorcore rap, meet other fans, and artists of horrorcore. MySpace is also where Emma and her friends found out about an upcoming music festival. In 2008, Emma was 15, and Richard was nearly 20. and the two connected on MySpace, which is the first red flag for me.
Yeah. That's like my daughter trying to, fuck no, not happen. Well, this is the shit that scares me about, like, TikTok, for one. That's what all these kids are all obsessed with now. But I don't think TikTok is, like, it's not like MySpace and like you're trying to get together and do, they're just posting videos. But it makes me
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
well, we'll get to it because it's not happening. So the two began to chat regularly on the phone and online. So pretty much it talked every day for like a year. It was said that Richard looked and acted much younger than he was.
Fucking fat redhead.
So for the first year, they never met in person. Emma would send him affectionate messages, but it was very hard to tell how she really felt about him. Richard described her as his online girlfriend. So there was another person that now I don't know where this girl and Emma met. I'll assume on MySpace, but they were supposedly best friends. It's Melanie Wells. She was 18-year-old daughter of Thomas G. Wells Jr. and Kathleen Wells. And they lived in Inwood, West Virginia, which is about 3 hours from...
I want to say that I think they met at a horrorcore show through their MySpace, set up from MySpace. And I think that's how these two girls...
That could very well be. I probably saw it and I just skipped over it. Yeah. And I just thought of it now when I saw her name. I'm like, well, how did they meet?
Because I remember the picture. I remember the picture of them. They were both at a show, and they were like in the crowd. Like there wasn't a lot of people there, but then they may have showed them on stage too as well with the band. But that's what I remember. So
that might have been the festival that they went to together with this kid, Richard.
True,
because I saw those pictures. Her and her family moved to West Virginia from Louisville, Kentucky, just before Wells entered high school. I was saying Inwood is about 3 hours from Farmville. Wells was a dropout.
I just want to know, how far is it away from
Adroit Theory?
Adroit Theory.
Purcellville. I don't know. I would think Farmville would be maybe an hour and a half from Purcellville.
Listen, when you judge your whole life of how long is it away, how far away from it is from Adroit Theory and Purcellville, you might have a problem.
I don't think it's a problem.
Hey, how far is Fort Collins, Colorado, away from Purcellville, Virginia?
She was a dropout, and she was studying for her high school equivalency test. Since she attended high school at Musselman High School, but she dropped out, so she didn't attend high school.
The applesauce?
Maybe. That didn't happen yet. She was also into Horrorcore Rap and MySpace. Her MySpace name was Miss Free Abortion.
God.
I guess her parents are very proud of her. So they found out about this festival coming up, Horrorcore Festival, which was in Southgate, Michigan. And that was to be September 12, 2009. Strictly for the Wicked. And I actually have the poster in the folder here. Maybe I'll pull it up quick so you can see it. But I'll throw it up on... So that's the poster for the festival.
Wow. I'm not going to lie. That's a pretty weak poster.
Yeah.
I always loved the punk rock posters that had like the hand-drawn shit.
Yeah.
Like just,
stick figures.
And just shenanigans.
So they had decided they were going to go to this festival together.
So it's the three of them.
Hold on. First, Emma and Melanie decided they were going to this thing.
Okay.
Because Melanie lived only 3.5 hours.
Yeah, right.
So she was going to drive because she was 18.
See, this is what I was telling you. This whole thing is like...
Oh, it's all over the place.
Yeah, it's like...
So she was 18. She was going to drive from her place in West Virginia to Melanie's, or to Emma's, stay there, and then go to this festival. Now, this is where, like, okay, hang on, not yet.
This is where...
I'm going to stop myself.
This shit's never going to happen.
Not yet. This might happen.
Well, for me, honestly, like, I've always been just paranoid. But if I was, like, 18, there's no fucking way that I'm going to link up with somebody that I don't even know from MySpace and drive 3.5 hours to go meet this person.
I think these girls knew each other somehow. Like, in person.
Yeah. Or maybe it was just
and I think
an innocent, like, okay, we really get along and we're just going to, you know.
I think her parents knew this person, too. I'm not sure, and it doesn't really spell it out. I know they didn't know Richard.
Richard!
So, like, these two girls leaving Virginia to go to Michigan for a thing, that probably would not have flown here in my house.
Well,
I did send my daughter to Austria to play soccer.
Yeah, but they're going with adults
for like 3 or 4 weeks. They were chaperoned.
Yeah,
but she did go to Austria to play soccer for a few weeks.
That's a bit of a stretch. Sure, you
were
probably
12.
nervous the whole time.
She was 12.
Yeah, I'd be fucking out.
I was actually when we did it. I actually said to Deb, I said, I'm going to buy a ticket just to go over for a day.
I was going to say, I'm surprised you didn't go with.
Just to go over for one day.
I mean, come on, Oktoberfest is like, it's only like 6 miles away.
Not to get a hotel or nothing. Just go over, watch her play one game, see her, let her know that someone's there.
Yeah.
And that if she needed something, I'd be back. And then fly home. But the round trip ticket was like $1,800. And it just wasn't a good time to do that.
Yeah.
Because around that same time, I was actually invited to go to a cigar plantation in Nicaragua. And all I had to do was fly down. Everything else was covered. And I couldn't do that because we were sending Lexi to Austria. And that was relatively expensive. Anyway. So.
It's just weird that, like, first off, they live 3.5 hours away from each other. And to hook up and then go to Illinois, which is Michigan, how far away? That's got to be at least a 2-day drive.
No, that's a 1-day drive. It's
Really?
like 8 or 10 hours. 10 hours.
Yeah, but for a 12-year-old and an 18-year-old? First off,
she was 15.
Okay.
15 and 18.
This is just odd. This is like, with that and parents not paying attention to their children.
That in itself was odd to me.
I would say less odd for the 18-year-old. Let me backtrack here. I would say less odd for the 18-year-old because
she's 18.
If I was 18, yeah, you're 18. You know, what are your parents going to say? No, I'm 18. I'm leaving. And then how do they know where you're going?
I had been many places before I was 18.
And yeah, so I mean, and I seen Emma is living with her mother, who got recently divorced from her father, I guess, or separated. So her mom's probably like, who knows? Maybe she's just doesn't care. She's not paying attention.
Well, hold on. It gets.
I gotta jump ahead.
Things change. So,
they do.
These two girls had attended festivals before, so this was not their first rodeo. Emma and Richard talked about the festival and decided it would be a great opportunity for them to meet in person for the first time. So he was going to fly from California to Farmville. Emma's parents were apprehensive about their 16-year-old meeting up at a festival with a 20-year-old whom she had never met.
Oh,
now, this is where I will say that this never would have happened in my house. I don't care. Not happening. Lexi would have to lie to me to be able to go to this festival. I talked to Lexi about this. We had this conversation.
So you talked to her about this?
Yes. I said to her, look, here's the situation. There's a music. I
That's
used.
right. You see, you called her. Yeah.
I used. Actually, she came out to the living room. I called her out to the living room, and I used anime because she used to go to anime festivals, and I've taken her and her friends to anime festivals. I took them to Philly. I took them to King of Prussia. Both festivals, I had a ticket to. I did not enjoy myself, but I had a ticket.
You didn't dress up or nothing?
No. So the one, I stayed there all day long. And I told the girls, you go do your thing. I will always be in the background someplace. I will always have line of sight on you at wherever you're at.
You lost them within 10 minutes. Like, God damn it, where'd you go?
Never lost them. And
fuck it, I'm going to be a pretzel.
Someone actually said to me, like, they thought I was their security.
I can see it, yeah. You know how it is when you go into public or especially you get in that mode. You get into that, like, you're watching everything.
I look at everything, dude.
Yeah. It's horrible. It's like, I don't think it's horrible, but it's just what we do.
That was the first one. The second one, I had a ticket. I went in. I said, look, I can't do this again. I
fucking hate anime.
Me and my daughter had like a code.
Except for that one time I jerked off to it. Okay, it was more than once.
Me and my daughter had a code. If I called her and something wasn't right, she was supposed to use this code with me. And I told her friends the same thing. If I contact you and you're uncomfortable in your situation or you can't talk properly, just say this. And I will do everything in my power to be there and make sure nothing happens.
Just follow the gunshots.
I'll go all taken on them. I have a specific set of skills.
Give me back my daughter. I want my daughter back.
So, the second one, there was a brew pub not far from the venue.
Only like 3 hours.
No, it was like literally less than a mile away. So I drove over there. I had lunch. I tasted every beer they had on tap, and I went a taster, not a glass, a taster. It was actually the biggest flight I've ever had. Usually a flight is 4 beers. They came out with 10 beers.
Really? I've seen flights like up there in the 10s.
But just the one we did out in Colorado, there was how many in that? There was 8, plus she gave me the 2 extras.
Oh, Baby Blue.
That was.
If you're listening, what was her name? Angel Eyes? I don't know.
Angel Eyes.
I just want you to know you weren't going to Denver that night. You lied to me. You lied. And I bought you drinks. I got you cheap. She had to be hammered, dude. Remember I bought her like 4 doubles?
Don't know.
I don't know. I was hammered when I left there.
Not me. I didn't drink anything. Anyway, so I went over and then I came back. I went in, made sure I found them, saw them, and then I said, "Look, I'll be in the parking lot when you're ready to go."
You know what? That's.
But I was there.
Yeah, that's a good. I don't know, parenting. I don't know. It's a good thing. Good thing. I would have probably done the same.
But if there had been a 20-year-old involved, the whole thing would not happen.
Fuck no.
No.
Like, okay, first off, what's your agenda? You're with my 15-year-old daughter?
Well, she's 16, but same.
Whatever. I mean, 16 used to be the legal age.
So, her parents were divorced. They weren't real happy about the situation, but they wanted her to be happy. So they decided that they would drive the 3 to Southgate, Michigan.
Okay.
They would hang out in the city for the day while the festival was going on, and then bring them home. So, on September 6th...
Hold on, what family here? I'm lost again.
Emma's family. Emma's parents.
So even though they were split up?
Even though they were divorced, they said,
okay.
we'll drive, the 2 of us will drive you up.
Ma and Pa coming together.
So that was the only parenting decision that they made that I agreed with.
Good co-parenting skills.
Yeah. So on September 6th, Richard left California for Virginia. Both him and Emma were very excited. Emma posted on September 7th, "Next time you check your MySpace, you'll be at my house." And then added, "I love you so much, baby, forever and for always."
No.
Never had met this kid. So Richard arrived somewhere on or around September 7th. I don't know if he got there the 7th, if he got there the 8th, if he got there late night on the 7th and it was into the 8th. Anyway, the same day, Melanie showed up there too. So Richard stayed at Emma's house.
And that's Virginia.
Yeah. And never going to happen.
Yeah.
That's what I said. This never happened. You know nothing about this kid.
Can you imagine coming downstairs and this fucking kid sitting in your living room?
Well, the parents knew he was coming.
Yeah, well, like you said. Or you forgot a few thousand exclamation points at the end there. Or it says in all caps, never happening.
You know nothing about this kid except he's 20 years old. You've never met him before. No. Not happening.
Fucking hardcore. What did he look like? What I know what he looked like.
So, needless to say, when she met him, she was not impressed. The fantasy of an online Richard was much better than the reality.
So, I guess he wasn't putting pictures up there.
He was. There was pictures.
Or maybe he did one of them.
Duck face, pouty.
Duck face, like the high angle.
Which she commented that, it was commented that he was much shorter than she thought.
Apparently that's a big thing with girls. Like short dudes. Like,
You're short?
I'm not short.
Yeah, you are.
No.
Yeah.
No. How tall do you think I am?
You're tiny.
No.
5'10".
No. 6 foot.
No, you're not.
I am.
Get the fuck right out of here.
How tall are you?
6'2".
Almost as tall as you.
No.
Yo, when I put my high heels on, bro. No, but
I put my 2-inch heels on high, bitch.
But not like that's not the first time I heard that. Like, girls don't like. There was a girl I dated. I was shorter than her. She was tall.
I'm okay with that.
But anyways,
so he looked much younger than the 20 years old that he was. His red hair was greasy and combed straight down from the forehead, which was very attractive.
Oh, I bet.
He was wearing oversized, baggy clothing.
Fucking Parmesan cheese in his hair.
Yeah. He came across as immature, like a young teenage boy. Emma did not find him attractive at all. Emma was polite, but showed no signs of wanting to be in a relationship with him as soon as they met. So, now, this festival was on the 12th. This is the 8th. At latest,
I'd say,
so he's
at a time.
He's going to stay there for 2 days before they or 3 days before they travel up there.
And already she's like,
she doesn't like him already. So it was a 10-hour drive to Southgate, Michigan. If he drove nonstop, it's like 639 miles. The festival doors open at 1 p.m. on the 12th. So I don't know what the travel arrangements were. I don't know if they went up. I think they went up and they stayed overnight. Went to the festival and then drove home the next day.
All right, listen. Me, 20 years old, I would never have the guts. Or, I wouldn't even say guts. I would say the mental deficiency this motherfucker had to go show up at a 16-year-old's house for 2 days, knowing, I'm going to stay there for 2 days. I would never do that. Even if the opportunity presented it.
Not a 16-year-old.
I don't think, I'll just say guts, because I don't know what else to say. I don't think I would do it. I'm like, that just doesn't seem right. But then again, I'm not a fucking serial killer, so.
Yeah. There is that. So Richard hoped that once they arrived at the festival, and they would both kind of be in their element on how they met and everything with the horrorcore music, that things would be different. But the fact is, once they got to the festival, things went downhill much faster.
See, and the thing that I watched, they didn't go into this. So I like this part of it.
So, according to other people at the festival, Emma paid very little attention to him. If that wasn't bad enough, she was flirting with other guys.
We obviously know why this guy made the trip.
In person. Oh, yeah. Obviously.
Right.
she was flirting with guys face to face, like right in front of him, and text flirting with guys. So he noticed this, and he did not take it very well. Emma's parents drove them home on Saturday the 13th.
Where the hell did they spend the night? Maybe they just stayed up all night long.
I think they had a hotel up there. I think the parents got a hotel room.
No, I meant the kids.
Well, I think they went back to the parents' hotel room. The festival's over.
Oh,
I think I remember seeing on a video that festival's over like at midnight.
Okay. All right, yeah. Makes sense.
What's wrong with that camera that's blinking?
This podcast is brought to you by Bear Claw Kitchen. Head on over to bearclawkitchen.com and check out their amazing selection of granola bars and granola snack packs. They also have hazel and spice granola butter, maple syrup, pancake mix, and a few different flavors of jam. So, once again, head over to bearclawkitchen.com and use code DELUXE15 at checkout to save 15% off your entire order. And then it's time to devour and claw on.
And we're back.
We're back in the saddle again.
We did the camera check. I think it's operating properly. Hopefully we have video for this episode. I don't know. Anyway, hey, while we're talking about it, your fest beer.
Yes.
Compared to the Take on the World Marzan.
Very similar.
I think there's like a bitterness at the end of this, which I don't have in mine.
Yeah.
But the sweetness up front in this is a little bit more than mine.
A little bit. Yours tasted more like a bread. Like more. I guess that would be the yeast. I would assume.
Yeah.
Which I think I felt so fat the next week after I got back to work because we probably had like I don't know 4 glasses of that each. 5?
Yeah, but the alcohol content that's very low.
I know, but I think it was just all the yeast and everything. Like I was swole. Like I'm already swole, but man, it was freaking delicious.
I was swolted even more.
And on top of that, we had the fedoras.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's what I think. This fedoras fucked me up. I think I killed like 2 sticks of butter that night.
That fedoras Italian bread is fucking bomb.
Mm. And you said they cooked their shit in the coal oven?
Yeah. I actually went out there the next weekend and he wasn't open. He didn't get his flour delivery. So
okay.
he could either not operate on Saturday or not operate on Monday. And I guess he has more orders on Mondays, of course, than he did on Saturdays. So,
dude, there's nothing like fresh baked bread. It's better than getting head.
But he still has to go and burn the oven. He's got to heat the oven. It's got to be fired up every day.
Well, I wonder what kind of coal you use. I know
regular coal.
Coal's a bitch to get going.
No, not really.
Unless you have, well, it's all about like super hot flame and air.
Well, you could start it with charcoal coal.
And that's how I ended up doing it because I couldn't get it started. I tried blowtorch, lighter fluid.
That's not going to work. You got to build a little fire.
Yeah. And then you told me about
but charcoal, yeah.
Charcoal, and that
you put the match light underneath it.
Yep. And I had one of those stoker things.
Okay, yeah, that'll work. That's even better.
I didn't put the coal in there. I did the charcoal.
Right.
So I got the charcoal like red hot.
Yeah.
And then I dumped that and then put the coal on top of that and then had an air supply going.
Yep. That's
and even then, it was a process. But I mean, he's got to be the only guy.
Even that burner right there, that thing over there with all the shit stacked on top of it, that's a coal stove.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
So that uses rice coal. Getting that started sometimes could be a bitch. But there's a gel you can squirt on it.
I tried that gel and it just the coal that I had was super wet.
Oh no, you can't do that.
I brought it from like Tractor Supply or something like that. But
they must store it outside.
Your Oktoberfest beer, well, it's not an Oktoberfest. It was a Marzan style. Very similar to this.
I could call it Oktoberfest if I fucking want to.
It's fucking America, bro. Do what you want.
Even though it's not a lager.
But it's got to be brewed in Schuylkill County to be an Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this has...
I spelled it AUCH, Oktoberfest.
A little bit more sugar. I don't know. But if you could produce something like that, dude, I would be like 600 pounds right now. It'd be nonstop.
Let me try this other one.
You want a glass?
If you don't want me to put my mouth on it.
I don't care. You don't have AIDS, do you?
Not anymore.
So this is trivia.
Dragon Stout Fire.
I think it's from like a Belgian.
10%.
You would think it's from Jamaica. It's weird.
That
You get banana?
it was almost sweet like syrup. It was weird.
Yeah. Take another sip.
I do get banana, but it's like banana syrup. How dark is that?
I don't know.
Give me a glass.
I've never never put it in the glass.
They're clean.
Yeah, pour like half that thing in here.
No, I don't want to pour half of that.
Why not?
Oh, look at that. That's nice and dark.
What, is that
It's a stout.
I don't know why they call it a fire. I get no heat. Do you?
No. Tastes different out of glass.
Yeah. Isn't that weird how like just the little subtle things will make a beer hit different?
That I couldn't drink a bunch of them, but I would definitely drink one.
Yeah.
I'm going to dump this one here.
I think a lot of that, like I said, Mike, you think I'm crazy, but
I do think you're crazy.
That the cap leaves a taste on top of the bottle.
See, that's close to the color of ours.
Yeah, it's very close.
Anyway, let's get back to the show.
Yeah, where were we?
Before we went off on a beer tangent.
Sort these beers out here.
Okay, it was the 14th. On the 14th, Melanie, on her MySpace, wrote, quote, SFTW was fucking amazing. Back in Virginia now. Back in West Virginia on Wednesday. I miss everyone. Exclamation point.
You shit.
No.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
Did you?
I don't feel like anything.
Are you sure? After that post, Melanie's MySpace was completely quiet. There was nothing after that. No. I told you, it's weird. I thought you had that one.
I thought I did too.
It tastes like syrup, doesn't it?
It's strong,
but
it's not very good.
It tastes like syrup. It's not horrible, but I would not drink more than one.
No. I don't know if I can drink that one.
Really? Are you going to dump a beer?
I'm not going to dump it. I have morals.
You're going to leave it there to get stale?
I'm pretty sure you would drink it. Maybe it was the other one that I had. I didn't realize I grabbed two different ones.
Put it in a glass and see if it tastes different to you.
All right.
Because I think it tasted much different out of a glass. That glass is clean as well.
They don't. All I got was like rubbing alcohol taste. With like a hint of like stuff that doesn't belong with
syrup.
Rubbing alcohol. No, it does taste better with the glass.
I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but
that's fucking odd.
More air contact? I don't know.
Yeah, now I get more of a syrupy.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But it's thick.
I wouldn't drink more than one of these.
No. But I would drink one. Anywho, so her MySpace went completely quiet then. None of her friends or families heard from her. Melanie's parents became worried when she didn't return home on Wednesday, as she had planned. Her father, on Wednesday, drove the 200 miles.
This is the weird part.
He drove 200 miles from Inwood, West Virginia, to Farmville and knocked on Emma's door. There was no answer. So he sat outside the house and waited for him, thinking that they were out someplace and they would be back soon. He sat for 7 hours. Nobody showed up. Okay. I just drove 3.5 hours, knocked on the door, no one answered. I sat in front of the house for 7 hours. What do you think I do next?
Yeah, kick the fucking door down.
Well, I'm not leaving town.
No, absolutely not.
He drove away.
Honestly,
the
cops would be involved at this point.
He left there and drove home.
Yeah.
Like, oh well. And I'm sure that's not what his attitude was. He was probably at a loss, like, well, maybe I missed her, whatever, second guessing making the drive in the first place. But
I would make such a
I
mistake.
would not leave that town until I heard from my daughter.
I would be like a holy fucking terror. Like, where the fuck is my daughter? I don't care whose door do I got to kick down around here to find my daughter. I know you would have went in that house.
I'm not saying I would or wouldn't have. I'm just saying there's no way I'm leaving that town.
That house would have been...
If I had gone to the police and they said, well, there's nothing we could do for 48 hours, it says, well, I'm about to enter that house, so you might as well come over and arrest me.
I wouldn't even tell them that. Wow, I really don't like that.
Okay.
Oh. That's, unfortunate. Oh, living there.
So, Melanie's mom, Kathleen, or Kathy, this Kathy started calling everyone she could think of.
Now, they actually have the
911 audio.
The 911 audio.
Yeah. She called friends. She called family members. Like anybody who might have heard from her. Nobody heard from her. She tried to call Emma's house several times, but nobody answered. After some investigating, she found out the number for Andries Shrim.
All right, so back up here. Okay. So they come home.
Yeah.
Emma's parents drive them back, all three of these kids,
right,
back to Emma's mom's house,
right,
in West Virginia.
And Emma's dad goes home.
They all part ways.
Yes.
And then
Melanie posts on MySpace that she had a great time and she'll be home Wednesday.
Melanie. Okay. So she never was. So Melanie's dad
drives from West Virginia.
See, I thought they only lived 3.5 hours away.
Yes.
But they said it was 200 miles.
Okay.
Is that 3.5 hours?
3.5 hours.
Okay. I didn't know. I'm sorry. So, okay. I mean, that's still a long time. All right. So, and then he eventually, all right.
Then he went home.
This is about my little, I have to keep checking because I get confused all the names and the places.
Okay. So, Melanie's mom, Kathleen, found a number for this Andre Shrim. Shrim was the owner of Serial Killing Records, and he was one of the organizers of the festival. That's weird. Well, if you remember what I said, at this time, with MySpace and the infancy of this genre,
yeah.
There was a lot of interaction between the artists and the fans. So, Kathleen called Shrim and told the whole story. And he told her, well, I saw Melanie, Emma, and Richard at the festival. And they were going home with Emma's parents when the event ended. Beyond that, he had no other information for her. So after she called Shrim, she called Emma's home again. And this time, someone did answer the phone. It was Richard. So Kathleen asked where Melanie was, and he really couldn't give a straight answer. He changed his story like 2 times.
That's right, yeah.
And Kathleen was frustrated, and she was pretty sure he was lying. So the next day, on Thursday the 17th, he called the police in Farmville and explained the situation and requested a welfare check on the home. So the police went to Emma's home. Richard answered the door. Now, I don't know if they went in the house or if they stayed on the porch or if he came outside. I don't know. And that plays into some of the issues I have with this case. Now, everybody, you know, everybody always second guess the cops.
Right.
And in this case, there are several interactions with Richard and the police over the course of this whole thing. And in hindsight, you can look back and say, well, they should have done something. But
always.
In reality, there was really nothing they could do. Because nothing had been discovered to be wrong yet.
Right.
So,
and let's face it, this was, what year was this?
90.
Oh, I thought it was.
He was born in 88. He was 20. 2006, 2008.
Yeah. Okay. A little different times back then.
It was. So, 2009 was the festival.
Okay.
It was 2009.
So, a little different times.
Where am I at here?
We were seeing how the cops were second guessed.
Right. Well, the cops questioned him, and he said, well, where are these girls at?
Nothing really ever happened.
Well, they went to the movies. They're not here right now. They went to the movies. And they said, okay, well, they didn't know who this kid, like, they didn't know the full story with this kid.
Right.
They thought he was actually living there.
They're just there to make sure
they're just
doing a welfare check.
Where is everybody? Is everybody good? Okay. Here we go. So the police took his word for it. Melanie was 18, and that's all they were concerned with at the time. They were concerned with Melanie. That's what the call was about. She was the only one listed as missing.
Right.
And they had no idea if Richard actually lived there or if he was just staying there or what the deal was. But they took his word for it. They walked away. This girl's 18. She's an adult. And it's not really been that long. Oh, well. And that's what I'm saying about second guessing her place. So after the welfare check, Kathleen called Emma's dad, Mark, explained the situation, and that Melody was supposed to have been home the day before. She had not heard a word from her. So now she's only missing from home for 24 hours now. So the police really can't do a missing persons, and they're just appeasing her by going and doing that welfare check. So Mark said, look, I'll drive over there. It's only 20 minutes. I'll drive over. I'll check and see what's going on. I told her, don't worry. As soon as I know something, I will let you know. I'll give you a call. That was 5 p.m. Kathleen never got a call from Mark. Never heard from him after that phone. So at some point, see, this is weird. And I only heard this one place, and it was on the video that I watched.
Yeah.
Supposedly, he called 911, Richard.
Yes. I heard the same thing, too.
And he said, I hear noises in the basement, and we have a dog, but I don't know if it's a dog, and my girlfriend's mom is worried, so they left the house. They left me here.
What he said.
Can you come and check the basement for me?
What he actually said, to make it even more strange, he said, we have 2 dogs.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
The one dog I just put upstairs, and I don't know where the other dog is. I think it might be downstairs, but I'm too scared to go and check. Like, bitch, go down there and fucking, like,
you little fucking bitch.
So, anyways. Yeah, why is he calling?
This is weird. And I didn't find this anyplace else but on that video I watched.
Yeah. And there's the audio of it.
Is there audio of the call?
Yeah.
Okay. See, like, I went on like Murderpedia. I went on some other serial killer site. Of course, I always check Wikipedia, even though Wikipedia is always wrong. I have found so many deficiencies.
Yeah.
With Wikipedia. It's ridiculous. Anyway, the only place I heard this was on that video. So they came. They went into the basement. Now, I don't know how they waited through the living room. It's weird. I don't know. So I don't know when this was in reference to Mark coming back and checking, Emma's dad.
Right.
But I had this information in there. So they went into the basement. They found nothing. How?
And if correct me if I'm wrong, he called multiple times. He called like 2, I think, times. Called the cops on 2 separate occasions.
That I don't know. Like I said,
Yeah.
this was the only reference to any call to the police. But it's just very weird. He choked it down.
Yeah.
He always had a reason why the ladies weren't there when he was questioned. I think I skipped. No, I didn't. I'm just going on timeline. I'm going to touch the murders later because at this point they have not been discovered yet. So at 0400, a homeowner who lived on Poorhouse Road in Farmville called the police to report a car had gotten stuck in a ditch at the end of their driveway. Richard had taken Emma's car and ended up stuck in that ditch. So a deputy came out, ticketed him for driving without a license, called a tow truck,
Right.
and convinced the tow truck driver to give his kid a lift to wherever he was going. So when he was asked whose car it was, she said it was her girlfriend's father. His girlfriend's father. So he gets a ride with the tow truck driver. While the officer was talking to Richard, it came up in the conversation he had plans to fly home to California the following day on Saturday the 19th. The tow truck driver, Elton Napper, would say later, Richard smelled so bad he had to roll his window head down and stick his head out the window, and even then he still felt like vomiting.
Ooh.
He was quoted saying he stunk like the devil. Napier dropped Richard off at a gas station. It would be another 12 hours till the bodies were discovered. Now, here's the thing. This cop pulls him over. This cop comes and gives him a citation. So he had to be this close because you got to sign the citation in front of the cop. And the cop didn't smell.
Stink.
Or maybe the cop was just, stinky motherfucker, I can't say nothing, I don't want to be rude. I don't know. So
Maybe he wasn't. God damn, that kid stinks like a. What the fuck, son?
So
I don't want to think about taking a shower.
Yeah, son. Drunk, stupid, and smelly is no way to go through life, son. On the morning of September 18th, Kathleen called the police again. She had not gathered any useful information over the last few days of trying to get a hold of her daughter. Mark never called her back. She hadn't heard a peep from Melanie. She convinced the police to return to Emma's house. The police returned at 3:20 Friday, September 18th. They found the door unlocked. Richard was nowhere to be found. Of course, now we know he was stuck in a ditch and dropped off at a gas station at 4 o'clock in the morning. They were hit with a thick, pungent, unmistakable stench of death, giving them probable cause to enter the home. As soon as the door was unlocked, they pushed the door open, yelled in, smelled that foul odor. That gave them probable cause to search the house. So they went in the house. See, my problem is they didn't smell it when they went to check the basement. Or maybe it was right after the murders. I don't know.
Yeah.
They didn't see any signs of anything. And once I go through the actual killings, like, it's kind of weird. How you go, like, usually when you come in my house, you got to go through the living room and go to the basement. Sometimes to go to the basement, you go through a kitchen to go in the basement.
Right, yeah. Or a living room and a kitchen.
Right. And they didn't see or smell anything. Like, I don't understand when those calls were made, so I'm not passing any judgment. Yeah, because they were there the day before on the welfare check. Now, he could have been outside. Maybe they entered the basement through the outside.
You gotta also think, too, so I'm pretty sure that this is maybe the 5th call to this house. At some point, what supervisor says, what the fuck is going on here? Like, check that whole entire fucking house. I don't know.
But you just can't do that. You got to have, and they had probable cause when they found the smell. They had probable cause to enter the house.
Well, I guess, yeah, well, you're right. When you do a welfare check, if somebody answers the door, you can't barge your way
Here's the thing, and I'm going to hit this one thing, and I'm going to get to something that connects to that. The neighbor told CNN that they were walking by and there was a foul smell about the home, like in the area. They thought it was a dead animal.
That's right, yeah. God damn. Now, listen, I've never smelled a dead body that I know of. I've been around dead bodies, but, everybody you ever talk to says it's the unmistakable smell, just like when you smell a dead mouse, something caught under a vending machine or behind a fridge, like
So that's nothing compared to a dead body.
No, and but to smell that outside of the house, makes me believe like why didn't the cops smell it? Maybe there's that fine line of when they start rotting and I'll just bit my tongue, stinking up the place.
So they made entry to the home, and they found 3 dead bodies in what looked like Emma's bedroom downstairs. So they discovered the bodies, and they immediately got a search warrant for the house. So I just think it's weird because if you found dead bodies, it's a crime scene. There's no warrant needed.
Right, yeah.
But they got a search warrant. And maybe they felt uncomfortable because they entered the house just because of the smell, and they're like, we had probable cause to come in, but we better cover our ass with a search warrant. I don't know.
They found the 3 bodies.
I'm not
and then left.
No, they waited.
Like I would figure you would.
They just stopped their search because there was no search warrant.
I figure you find 3 dead bodies, you clear the house, and tape it off.
That's what I'm thinking. But look, I don't know. I've never operated a crime scene like that. So, once they had their warrant, they were able to perform a full search of the house and discovered another body in the upstairs bedroom. After going through the evidence in the home and checking social media accounts of Emma and Melanie, it did not take police long to figure out that it was Richard that had been with the girls at the festival. He had come back to Farmville with them. Now he's nowhere to be found. So, the officer who had gone to the home to carry out the welfare check remembered speaking to Richard. He was shown photos of Richard on social media and confirmed that was the same person he talked to about Melanie and Emma's whereabouts. So a manhunt for Richard McCroskey was declared. So now they're looking for him. Up until this point, Richard got pretty lucky, but I think his luck was about to run out. So we're back at that gas station. He got a cab from that gas station, or he got a cab from Charlottesville to Richmond International Airport. The cab driver was Curtis Gibson. So he was an hour from the airport. So it was an hour-long ride. He talked to Richard about Emma. He talked about horrorcore music and the Michigan Festival. So this taxi driver gets pulled over speeding. So an officer is writing a taxi cab driver a ticket. And Richard's on the side of the road smoking a cigarette.
This stinky fuck. Unless he's taking a shower by then.
No, because when they picked him up,
right.
Johnny, jump ahead. Mikey, jump ahead. He planned on staying at the airport overnight until his flight to California the next day. By this time, the bodies were discovered, and Richard was officially a suspect. The officer who had ticketed him at 0400 recognized him and remembered the conversation about flying to California. So they went to the airport looking for him. Richard McCroskey was apprehended without incident on the morning of September 19th, sleeping in a chair at Richmond International Airport in the baggage claim area. He was initially charged with the murder of Mark Niederbrook, grand larceny of Mark's car, robbery for taking his wallet. At the airport, as he was being led away by police, Richard said to a reporter, Do you? I don't dislike it, but I'm not gonna get it again. I'll drink the ones that are in there, no problem.
I like it.
As he was, he was asked by a reporter, "Why'd you do it?" And he said, Jesus made me do it." Now, when they got him at the airport, he still had the blood-stained clothes on. And he still reeked of death. Like,
there's actually video of him getting arrested in the airport.
Yes, I saw that.
I wonder what he looks like now.
I don't know.
That greasy Parmesan hair wearing motherfucker.
What? 15 years later?
Yeah.
So the rest of the bodies were identified on the 21st of September, and he was charged with 3 additional counts of murder. Now we'll get into the manner of death. Police concluded the victims died from one force trauma to the head. Police occult expert Don Reamer, was brought in because symbols were found in the music that teens listen to. Described the murder scenes as a slaughterhouse. So I guess some of the imagery that was involved with the horrorcore music made them think there might be an occult aspect to it, but I don't think there was.
Okay.
McCroskey initially didn't cooperate with the police after his arrest. The police took McCroskey's computer, house phone, and more than a dozen paper bags of evidence from his home. Richard was charged with 6 counts of capital murder per Virginia criminal law. I don't know how 6 counts. There was 4 murders. But he was charged with 6 counts. But then later in this, he pled guilty. I don't know. So this is some of the stuff that the Prince Edward County Commonwealth attorney James Ennis, he said some of this stuff that's coming up. McCroskey's fading relationship with Emma is the most likely what led to the murder. He said McCroskey was asked why he killed the additional 3 instead of only his girlfriend, and he replied, "Wrong place, wrong time."
Wow.
Ennis described McCroskey as a closed-off individual. He said there was no history of violence or bad acts in his life. Nearly a year after the crimes, Ennis said McCroskey did not speak to authorities until 2 weeks ago. So a year after, minus 2 weeks, that's when he finally talked to the cops. He said that the plea agreement came within the last 8 weeks, which was almost 8 weeks of the anniversary of the crime.
Wow.
On September 20th, 2010, McCroskey pled guilty to all 4 murders, and although facing the death penalty, he was sentenced to life in prison because he pled guilty. So
Whoa. I thought he just did 3.
4. He killed the dad, too.
Wow.
When the dad, Mark,
I know that.
came over to check on him,
He whacked him.
he whacked him. He whacked Emma, Melanie, and Emma's mom.
Oh my God, I didn't even know there was a mom. Wow. Okay, makes sense.
He was sentenced to life. Commonwealth Attorney Ennis says the victim's family supported the decision to reach a plea agreement instead of going to trial and seeking the death penalty. He's going to be in jail the rest of his life.
See how much our podcast blows my mind? I surprised myself.
Holy shit!
Oh no, honestly, I literally, after watching the thing and reading on it, I thought there was 3 murders.
No, 4.
I didn't realize he did the mom too.
Yeah, the mom was done the same time as the girl. Well, I have that written down here. Then.
Well, they said the dad came home. He whacked him out in the yard.
No, he whacked him as he walked into the house. He hit him with a maul, like a splitting maul.
Yeah.
Oof. What it really means is death in prison. Not he's going to be in prison for the rest of life. What it really means is death in prison.
Yeah.
He described a timeline to the homicides. And this is the state attorney. This is his rundown. Richard's motive for the murders was his rage towards Emma for rejecting him at the music festival. Mark, Deborah, and Melanie were really just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Richard had been drinking and smoking marijuana, his blood boiling as he became increasingly furious. Melanie was the first killed as she slept on the couch in the den. He then killed Deborah, the mom, in the upstairs room, and finally Emma in her downstairs bedroom. The three women were murdered in the early hours of September 15th with a ball-peen hammer. None of them awoke during their attacks, indicated by the absence of defensive wounds. From around 3 a.m. Tuesday, the 15th, to 5 p.m. on Thursday, the 17th, when Mark arrived, Richard just sat in the house with the three dead bodies.
Just absorbing that stench.
That's not exactly true, because they say that he tried to do some cleanup, and he moved the bodies. The police came by the home during this time to carry out the welfare check at Kathleen Wells' request.
Like, hey, you guys mind helping me move this body? Yeah, sure, no problem.
When Mark Niederbrook went to the home on the 17th, after receiving a call from Kathleen regarding Melanie's whereabouts, he was ambushed in the room downstairs. Mark was ultimately beaten to death with an 8-pound wood-splitting maul. Richard said he used the maul to kill Mark because he believed that the weight of it meant he would not suffer.
Yeah.
How nice of him.
Yeah, a nice guy. Now, the maul is...
It looks like a sledgehammer with a pointy end, with a blade end. It's a sledgehammer on one side, a blade end on the other side. I have one up in the garage.
Can I see it?
Sure, I saw it up close. It will not hurt at all. McCroskey told authorities McCroskey told authorities he did not move the bodies until after the first welfare check on the home, of which there were 3. Okay, you're right.
3 welfare checks.
Yes.
Multiple phone calls to the police. I mean, you know, some things are just a perfect storm, I guess.
He dragged Mark's body and Melanie's body into Emma's room. For some reason, he tried to clean up the den. I'm not sure why he bothered doing this. He also recorded a video of himself in which he spoke to the camera, talking about how he knew he'd have to pay for the consequences for what he'd done, and that he contemplated suicide. At 3:45 a.m. on Saturday, Richard fled the scene in Mark's 2000 Honda after stealing cash from Mark's wallet. Shortly after is when he got stuck in the ditch on Poorhouse Road.
Now, from my understanding, that he told or convinced the cop that it was a rental car.
Now this says he told the cop that it was his girlfriend's father's car.
Oh, okay.
So these are the places that I went for my info. It's talkmurderwithme.com blog.
How do you find this shit?
I just searched like a theme.
Well, I'm glad I can give you the topics to search. There's no way I'd go through all this shit.
The Rotunda Online, which I think is a newspaper or an online newspaper, and that's there was an article about him being sentenced to life. And
like here, I pulled up a couple of pictures of him. He looks like a greasy fuck.
Yeah, he does.
Just he looks like a little chubby fucking idiot.
So that is the Horrorcore Killer, or Horrorcore Killings, or the Farmville Murders. And I'll toss this picture up, and there's pictures of Melanie and Emma too out there. I'll toss them up.
I'd like to get a picture of him now while he's in jail, like 15 years after the fact.
Well, maybe there's no pictures. Like,
Yeah, I really can't find anything.
he's not on death row, but he's...
So I guess he's what, in Virginia?
Yeah. But the whole thing was... Look, the whole thing could have been prevented by the parents just saying, you ain't going no place with a 20-year-old kid.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it just goes to show you what can happen. You know, I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Well, I know, like, people, a lot of people, even my kids make fun of me because I'm slightly paranoid. I won't sit in a restaurant with my back to a door. You know, it's just how I am. But
well,
there's reason for that.
Doesn't hurt to be aware of your surroundings.
And I like to be, and it comes from working in a jail. I like to be able to see the whole room.
Yeah.
I see everybody in it. And I even strategically place myself because people usually scan a room from left to right.
Right.
So I don't like being in a restaurant, the first table on the left. So when I go to the diner, I go to Leesport Diner for breakfast on Tuesdays. And when my normal waitress, Star, is on that side of the building, she'll say, oh, you could sit at this table.
I don't like being on the left side. When you walk in, you're on the left?
Yeah.
I don't like that side.
But it's the first place people look. Because they scan the room left to right.
I'm always last, so my back's right to the door. On the left-hand side. It's like the worst of the worst.
Oh, yeah. And I always tell her I call it the murder table. And she goes, why do you call it the murder table? I explain it to her.
It's right next to the cash register.
And then when she sits me on the other side, she sits me at the first table with 2 windows. I call that the sniper table. she just laughs at me. But I'm serious. Like, if there was a sniper shooting in, you have the best view of that table from any place around the restaurant.
I have less of a paranoia of getting shot by a sniper in a diner.
Dude,
than getting robbed at a diner.
I think everything through. So, anyway. That was a lot of information for 4 killings, but
yeah,
this was
what a perfect storm of just this greasy red-haired fuck plotting to just, I don't know, just miserable. I mean, I'm sure this guy probably thought about killing before that.
There's nothing that indicates that he did. This crime of passion.
Maybe his passion.
Yeah.
There was no other passion.
No, it was a crime. Obviously his passion. He felt slighted.
Yeah.
And
he got weird. I mean, come on, kid. Bro, if you're going to lose your shit over one girl rejecting you,
yeah.
I mean, you know how many times I've been rejected?
You were like 20.
Yeah, you were only 20. Try getting beat up when you're like fucking 38, motherfucker.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Try getting your ass kicked.
Yeah. So, you know, listen, I've run the gambit of rejection, and I've never thought about killing somebody. And it's just, the only time you get those like thoughts of like not necessarily killing people, but like beating like, you know, is bullies. I cannot stand bullies, and you know, it's just there's no reason. There's no reason for it. And,
nope.
You know, I hate to say that I can see why this shit happens, but you know, you can. Like, I don't know. That's all.
So, we took on the Horrorcore Killer and the Farmville Murders.
Yeah, why do they call it the Killers?
I put an S on there.
Like,
I don't copy and paste this shit. I write this.
I could tell last time we were up here. Like, everything was spelled wrong.
Because I did it like an hour before you got here. I'm like, type, just type as fast as I could.
Yeah, see, I can't, I'm not a fast typer. I'm a one-finger typer. I gotta write everything. And then half the time I can't read my own handwriting.
That's why I gotta type it, because I can't read my own handwriting. So we took on the Horrorcore Killer and the Farmville Murders. Now you go take on the world.
Our podcasts exist because of listeners like you. To find other great shows, head over to theden.show. Thanks for listening.
Hold on, stop.
Welcome back to the Shit Show 2.0.
Okay, Boomer.
Damn millennials. Wow.
Did not know that.
Even flirters who are obviously mentally ill.
You want to be my wife? Oh, this is gonna go downhill real quick.